take another commercial. Finally, this place is an actual construction site. Perhaps in a year's time, we'll be able to say, finally, we have done something about the health of those construction and other workers who clawed at the pile with their hands 6 years ago. For now, thousands of them struggle to breathe and to pay for medical care, including the man who found the symbolic World Trade Center cross. He joins us next on this special edition of Countdown. 6 years after the Twin Towers collapsed, leaving behind the cloud of debris and noxious fumes from the burning pile, many of the living victims of the tragedies, the one who breathed in that toxic soup, are still waiting for help. Now in our number 2 story in the countdown, Congress is finally talking about looking to do something for all of them. 3 congressional representatives from New York introduced the 9/11 Health and Compensation Act today, which would provide health care to all affected people. 400,000 people lived and worked around Ground Zero after the disaster. Out of them, only 3,000, all kids, have been thoroughly monitored. But over half of the children had some kind of respiratory problem. About 40,000 people were involved in cleaning up the World Trade Center site. And out of the 21,000 workers being monitored, 69% had breathing difficulties. Included among them was Frank Selecha, who was a construction worker, spent months at the site and found the emblematic cross that offered hope to so many working down there. As this story is an extraordinary one, you know about the cross. We'd like you to meet the man as he's joining us now. Frank, thanks for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
What happened to you at Ground Zero?
With all the chemical compounds that come from crushing a building down, we inhaled it, and we've eaten it, we've lived in it 12 hours a day, 7 days a week for 10 months.
And your protection against it was what?
In the beginning, nothing. They didn't bring in respirators until at least 3 months later. There wasn't
a handkerchief and water?
I started off with a bandana with wet down and put across my face as my own protection, but it didn't hold much back. But this site didn't have a bird flying over it until February, and coal miners use canaries in the coal mine to test the air. So when they sent Christy Todd Whitman down here to check the air, I don't know where she was checking it, but this air was inhabitable.
What did you think then? Did you believe it when they said it was all right?
I knew that it wasn't going to be all right, but I still came anyway, because this here represents our country, our how could I put it? It's the institution of our country.
Yeah.
And 3,000 lives. At that time, it could have been 35,000.
Yes.
If it wasn't for the brave men and women of the civil servants. But I worked diligently with the fire department and the police department and EMS workers to try and recover some of the people. 47 bodies is what I came up with, and that's
the idea. Let me take you back to the idea of what the country represents. Did you expect, when you thought, well, it's dangerous, I might be putting myself at risk here, did you expect they would somebody would be taking care of you, even though nobody ordered you down there and you weren't fire department and you weren't police?
No, I at that time I was unionized, and I'm still a union member, and I thought that the benefits, you know, I never expected the long-term effect.
Yeah.
You know, I came here, I was 110%. I left here, I was exhausted. So I took a month off. After the month of trying to go back to work, I found myself less exuberant, more fatigued, shortness of breath, but I still went to work. I still tried. And then the companies used to cut me loose.
Yeah.
And to the point where I said 2 years ago, that's it, I'm done. I can no longer compete in the field that I've been doing for 15 years.
Have we failed you as a nation? And everybody else who was here doing that job?
I won't go as far as failing me, because there still could be a chance of progress. You know, if they stop making this a political scene, it's all about politics here. It's all about money, you know. They forgot the human quality. You know, the people want to go in the pit to mourn their dead. They won't let them because it's progress. You know, it's human emotion versus politics and finances.
And of all people to happen to, the man who found that cross, does the cross still mean what it did to you then?
That cross represents faith. On that day, these buildings came down. It crushed our faith. And it's not just for a Christian or a Catholic. It's for all faiths. A faith is a love of our country. And if our forefathers, and I said I'd do this, gotta find it, on our dollar bills and on our currency.
Yeah.
If our forefathers can stand behind God, then we can too. And that's what that cross represents to me. It's a symbol of healing, of hope, of comfort. And that's why I wanted to be part of the memorial so badly. And Father Brian Jordan is working with me with the Port Authority and Silverstein and all of the administrations to try and preserve it.
Frank Zalecka, I know what an effort a conversation is at this point. We thank you for making that effort for us, and we wish you all the best.
I thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.